So welcome everybody to this latest edition of In Conversation with Super League Raw. And as you can see, we are delighted to be joined by the testimonial man of Warrington Wolves, Mr. Joe Philbin. Joe, welcome to Super League Raw.
Thank you for having me, mate. Excited to be on and excited to chat all things rugby league for the next little while.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do, we're going to basically bed you in nice and softly to begin with a couple of quick fire questions, Joe, so people can get to know you a bit better. So first and foremost, your favourite film, mate, of all time?
Favourite film is Law Abiding Citizen. I've watched it countless times. Real big fan. My missus weren't the biggest fan because she says it's very unrealistic, but I really enjoyed it.
Fair play. Favourite song?
Favourite song? Probably go something Oasis, maybe Rock and Roll Star, Cigarettes and Alcohol, something like that. Oasis.
Classic era, mate. Italian or curry?
Italian. Curry, really like a curry, but I'm really on Italian at the minute.
Fair enough. Primrose or blue?
Blue.
Blue. Red, white or rosé?
White, Chardonnay.
Good man. Do you prefer to fill a bin or empty a bin?
Fill a bin, yeah. The missus will attest to that, yeah.
What's your favourite away ground?
Love playing at Saints, to be honest with you. Saints away.
Yeah. Has to be really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Always a pumping atmosphere there, and yeah, had a few good days there. It's good.
Right. Your childhood rugby league hero?
I feel like the era was like so strong when I was coming up. It was like Andy Farrell, Paul Sculthorpe, Moz. So hard to pick from all them. My earliest memories are Andy Farrell, to be honest with you, like playing with strapping around a busted nose and like his nose basically there was nothing there.
Yeah, the Saints game.
Yeah. So they were my childhood memories growing up. So I'd probably say he was the player who I'd looked at when I was younger.
Fair enough. Who's the best player you've played with thus far in your career?
Gosh,
tough one.
I got to play obviously 2019. I got to play with James Graham, who I kind of watched his career all the way through, and he went over to us and did really well. And as a front rower, I probably got a lot for him. But I'm going to say Chris Hill. Chris Hill for me as a front rower I saw him at his best week in, week out for so long. So when I was there, he was in his prime and absolutely killing it. So think Hilly, because I'm going to pick a front rowers union, stick together. You know what I mean?
Well, we've actually got Chris Hill coming on in a future episode, so I'll let him know that you gave him that accolade. I'm sure he'll be delighted, mate. Who's your hardest opponent that you've ever come up against on the field of play?
I'm going to say Jamie Peacock for that one. I know he was towards the back end, but I remember I got a start in 2015 when I was a young whippersnapper, and he picked me out every single carry he got and kept coming at me. And it took me once or twice tackling him before I probably got over being starstruck playing against him. So Jamie Peacock, I'm going to say.
Fair enough. What's of the tries that you've scored, the hundreds of them, Joe? Which one's your favourite of the tries you've scored?
God, there's so many going through my head right now. I'm struggling to think I've scored that many tries. No. So the Challenge Cup final, mate. The Challenge Cup final. It's an easy one to. It was a big moment, first try in the game, and that was my favourite by far.
Yeah, obviously you got us there as well, mate. Trying the semi as well.
Yeah. The little run there, Challenge Cup.
You did. You did indeed. Yeah. Who's had the biggest impact on your career in rugby league? Who would you say that has been up to now?
The youth staff at Warrington Wolves have been Gary Chambers, who's now our director of rugby. He had a big impact on my journey. Peter Farrell, who picked me up and he helped me out a lot, and John Bastian and Ben Lazenby, that kind of core of the youth coaches, they kind of moulded us from kind of kids into young men, and they made a real impact on me from a young age. And then I've been lucky enough to share a dressing room with so many good senior players. Like, I mentioned Chris Hill there. I remember he used to always grab me to do extras and probably made me see what it is to be a pro. Benny Westwood was a big mentor of mine coming up. So I've been lucky enough to kind of be around so many good people. So I've taken the things that I like from each person and kind of tried to mold it into my own little thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, spot on. Like you say, some great names there that you've thrown out. And then the last one, mate, in this section, if you had a dinner party and you can invite three guests, alive or dead, who would you invite? Which three guests would you invite to that dinner party?
Oh, I'd want Liam Gallagher, but I'd want him in his pomp. I'd want him when he was a bit wild. That would be he'd defo be there. I think it'd turn into a bit more than a dinner party though. I think we'd end up at the pub. I'd take I'd take my granddad. I never got to meet any of my granddads, so I'd take one of my granddads and find see the men who made my mum and my dad. That'd be nice. And then I've got a bit of music. I've got some family. You need good food, don't you? So I'd take a chef. What chef would have a few decent stories? Maybe Gordon Ramsay. Let Gordon Ramsay cut me up a storm.
Fair play, fair play. Nothing wrong with that. With three Michelin stars, mate. You've been for a treat that night. There's no doubt about that.
I'll be eating good that night. Yeah, definitely.
Good man. Well, look, we settled it. I was going to be really cheeky, and I was going to say Culture Eagles or Latchford Albion, but that'd have been naughty, wouldn't it?
I couldn't decide.
Absolutely.
For you.
Absolutely. But that links in quite nicely because, of course, this week you've launched your shirt. And there's a little bit of a tie there. Do you want to just talk about your testimonial shirt and what you've tried to do with that?
Yeah, well, first of all, the company that made it, MIG Creative, I kind of went to them and I was like, I used to play for Latchford, I used to play for Culture. So I started off at Culture, went to Latchford, and obviously now play for Warrington. And they're the three clubs that mean so much to me, giving me everything that I've got out of this sport. So really thankful to all of them. And I'm really happy with how the designs come out. So the thought of it is like, it's got the maroon colour of Latchford, the gold of Culture Eagles, and in a kind of V, and then it's got three wolf scratches. The wolves one scratch for each Latchford, Culture, and Warrington, to kind of tie it all together. And what was a vision, Martin made into a reality. Martin Greaves over there at MIG and did a really good job. So really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, and you're selling the t-shirts, aren't you? You're not actually selling the rugby shirts, are you? It's t-shirts you're selling, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know about other people personally. I just went off my personal preference. I feel like when you wear a replica jersey, I feel like you'd wear it to the rugby and then I don't know, I wouldn't really want to wear one myself outside the house. Whereas a t-shirt, I'd wear it to the gym, I'd wear it also. I feel like it's more versatile. So basically, because I thought so, that's what I did. Very selfish, very selfish.
No, fair play. And you know what? Quite refreshing because let's be fair as well. It keeps the price down as well, which at this, in these current times is a good thing, isn't it? So where can people pick that shirt up, Joe?
Yeah, there's an email, steve@joephilbin.co.uk. Steve's doing it. We are getting a website up and running. It'll be up and running after the testimonial game. But yeah, look, I'm really glad with how it's gone down. A lot of people have been asking questions about it, and a lot of people really like the kit. So really happy with the response. To be honest with you, it's been a bit wild.
And you've got a Facebook page, haven't you? They can probably go via that as well, can't they?
Yeah, Joe Philbin testimonial. That's the Facebook page and the Instagram page as well. So you go on there, all the info's on there. And also on my personal page, I'm sharing everything on my personal page at Philbs as well. So yeah, wherever you want to get at it, you can go on, get on there and go and support. It'd be great.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We'll come back to your testimonial a little bit later. So obviously played at amateur level there at Culture and at Latchford. And then, of course, 2014, the Warrington Wolves come knocking. When did you know? Well, first of all, talk us through those amateur days. What got you into rugby league? When did you know you had a chance of making it? And who approached you from Warrington, and how did that feel at the time? So, first of all, your younger days, what got you into the sport?
Yeah, my story is a little bit different to a lot of people's. I didn't touch rugby until I was 15 years old. I was played football all the way through and got dropped down to the B team at football. I put a bit of weight on. I was getting turning into a bit of a big kid, and I was a centre mid. And the coach said, "Look, you're not doing the box to box midfield thing. I need you to do. I need you to run back." And I weren't tracking back, so we dropped me down to the B team. So I was in a pretty good football team. So I didn't really want to play for the B team. I played a year there, and then I was like, "No, I'm going to go and play rugby." Because a few of my mates played rugby, but I've got a very overprotective mum, so she wouldn't let me play. And it got to the point where I just had to take myself to training, cycle to training, And yeah, I got down to Culture Eagles, and really enjoyed it, loved it. Played 1 or 2 games, didn't really know the rules. I was just running through people, to be honest with you. I was yeah, I did quite well to start, and then pretty soon after, I think I played 3 or 4 games before I got a phone call off Warrington, and then things materialised pretty quickly, and I got put on the scholarship. So I'd played probably half a season of rugby, if that, and I was on the Warrington scholarship. So it was a bit weird. It's a bit weird, to be honest with you, because I barely knew the rules, and I'm there at a professional club. So like I said, I always remember my first training session where like they were putting moves on, like, there's a dummy runner and there's a man out the back, and I didn't know what a move was. I was just, I didn't have a clue. But obviously, I'd just a little bit of raw ability, because although I was, like I said, I put a bit of weight on, I was quite fat. I was fast for my size, so I was an handful to tackle. So yeah, that's how it started. A little bit different to most people's stories. A lot of people start when they're younger, and but for me, it was really late. I was, half a season, and lucky enough that Warrington came down as well with the scouting system, because Culture were in the bottom division. So at under 15s, usually you're picking players up from the top division. They're not even going to look at the other leagues really. But they found me bottom division, Culture Eagles, on a Saturday morning. I was playing against West Horton. I was playing against when I first got a phone call, and they obviously spotted me. So that was my little journey.
Unbelievable. So it sounds really quick as well. Really quick. The turnaround from amateur to obviously getting there at Warrington. And talk us through, when did you know that you were going to be making your debut? What was that like, knowing that, your debut was I think it was Hull KR away, your debut, that you first played. What was it like knowing that, you were going to make your debut?
Yeah, it was really good. I remember I played for the academy the week before, scored 4 tries and had a good game, and then we had an academy team night out. We went to Blackpool, and we had a good do there. A good team drink together, and then on the Tuesday morning, I weren't meant to be training with the first team. I was meant to be training with the academy. I didn't know anything really, and so I'd had a bit of a lie in, and I've woke up and I've got about 3 missed calls off Tony Smith, and I've got a few missed calls off Lee Braze, who was in the first team. He was the assistant coach for the first team, and he was also our academy coach. So I thought I'll ring Braze, because he's, a bit scared to speak to the coach at that time. So I thought Braze will be the easier one to ring back. I rang Braze, and he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in bed." He said, "Get here, you're making your debut." So late to training, got there, and I kind of walked in the video room, and everyone was clapping me as I walked in. So it was a good feeling. Yeah, Hull KR away, obviously hostile environment, but yeah, that's like, you remember it for the rest of your life, that first game, and I do, and it was that was a good moment. Yeah, so that was my debut.
A lot of big characters in that dressing room that first game. I mean, you mentioned Lee Breers there. Always comes across as a bit of a lively lad, Lee. I read his autobiography as well. Bit of a cheeky lad. What was he like as a teammate, Lee Breers?
Well, no, so Lee Braze was our academy coach at the back end of his career, 2013, and 2014 when I debuted. That's when I went full time.
Oh yeah.
Lee had retired, so I signed full time, and Lee was like, "I'm going to take you under my wing. I'll look after you." And then back end of that season, he ended up retiring through his neck. So I didn't end up having him as a teammate. So although I hear all the stories of how lively he was a different character for me, because he was a coach. So so it was more of a do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Probably safer. So who's been the biggest character that you have played with then? Who's been the biggest joker that you've played with?
Oh, I played with plenty. I've played with plenty. I don't know. There's different types of jokers. Matty Russell. He'll Photoshop your face onto someone else's body. He's a joker in that way, and makes everyone laugh in that way. We had Tommy Lynham and Jake Mamo. They were big personalities in different ways, and really enjoyed their company. I think a rugby team, a rugby change room, is like a group of big kids. That's what we are. We're a group of big kids who have different humour to everyone else, but we really enjoy ourselves, and we think everything's really funny. So there's a lot of big characters that I've played with.
And of course, I think it was a few rounds after that Hull KR when you make your debut at Halliwell Jones. So even though your main debute's come and gone, how big was it? To walk out your hometown club, to walk out the Halliwell Jones in the first team squad?
Yeah, it was massive. So I think I only played 3 games that year. I played
Yeah,
I played Widnes away, which was another hostile one.
yeah.
I had Kev Brown giving me hell that day, telling me how fat I was. Uh, Went home crying, and then after that, my home debut was London Broncos. I think it
That's
was.
it. Yeah, spot on. Yeah,
Yeah. That was again that was a good day. Like you say, you remember them games massively. So no, yeah, it was really good. And then that year, I think, kind of got me ready for 2015, where I made quite a few more appearances.
yeah. 16 in total in 2015 is what you played, Joe. And of course, you got your first try. In fact, you got to talk about. We spoke a minute ago about you scoring in the semi-final and the final of the Challenge Cup. We'll get around to that later. But in the 2015 season, you scored back-to-back tries. If you recall, round 3, we lost to Catalan. But you came off the bench and scored a try. And then in the following round, we beat ULKR 32-24. You started that one, and you got your second try. You only scored 3 that season, and 2 came back to back.
Yeah, I remember it well. Catalan game. I remember I'd had a pretty good pre-season, and I think Tony was happy with me, and he pulled me in and just said, "Look, I'm going to give you a go against Catalan." So I come off the bench, and I remember I had a pretty good game, to be honest with you. And then so I was playing in the back row then, so I scored a few more tries back then before I got put into the middle. When it's a bit easier, you score a few more tries in the back row. So yeah, so I scored that game, and then the following week against ULKR, Daz Clark put me over in his first season at the club as well, just a barge over. So yeah, I remember the start of that season. Well, the season started well for me. But I remember towards the back end of that season, probably, like I say, at that time, when you say there was a lot of characters, it was a very much an older dressing room, the Warrington dressing room, and I think the old school mentality was, you play hard, and then a few lads would enjoy a few drinks after a game now, but also they worked the socks off in the week, and they'd be all doing extras and stuff like that. But I never saw them doing the extras, so I just saw a few lads have a drink, and I thought, well, I can start doing that then. So I kind of, things that had worked for me to get up to that point, I probably stopped doing, and I got a little bit sloppy, to be honest, towards the back end of that 2015 season, which cost me in the 2016 season. Because if you go on to the 2016 season, I know you're probably going to, but I started that season terribly. Probably didn't have the best pre-season. I got into a few bad habits. My diet weren't the best. I was probably drinking too much, enjoying going out with my mates a bit too much. I was at that age where you kind of you have to make a choice. Do you say no to social events? And I probably weren't saying no to enough social events. And it was massively a year of lessons, that 2016 season. I only played a few games, and then I got sent out on loan to Bradford Bulls, and that loan move was massive for me. So Rowan Smith, who's the current Leeds Rhinos coach, was the coach there, Tony's nephew, and he sent me there, and I really, really enjoyed it. But I also, I was playing in the Championship, and I was probably thinking to myself, you're throwing away a Super League career here by making weak choices. So I had a word with myself. I started doing the extras. I started dieting. I started watching what I was eating. I started saying no a few more times to social events. And I come back a different person. To be honest with you, I was leaner. I was fitter. I was hungrier. Wanted it. And that year, then it kind of started off so badly for me, and then I played every game up until the grand final. So I played the 6 or 7 games leading up to the grand final, and then won the semi-final against Saints. It gets to grand final week, and we're all stretching, leading to like a big training session before, and Tony goes around saying, "You're playing," and then if he pulls someone out, it's bad news, and he's like, "You're playing." He said, "Oh, Philbs, can I just have a word?" I was like, "Oh, no way." Yeah. So he's pulled me, and basically, I think I'd been playing over Ryan Bailey for a few weeks, and then he pulled me and he just said, "Look, I need to go with experience for this grand final. I need to go with experience." And I remember we're warming up for training, and I'm crying. I'm like trying to hide it from the lads. I'm crying my eyes out, but I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for that, because I remember thinking I don't ever want to have this feeling again. I don't want to be a player who the coach doesn't trust. You know what I mean? Because he obviously didn't trust me to play in a grand final, which is not a great feeling. But I kind of understand it from probably the perception of what I was like the back end of 2015, start of 2016. But I learned my lessons, and I feel like my career probably kind of took off then with a bit of a I think with pain comes growth sometimes, and that certainly was the case for me.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we went on to that final. That was the final. Of course, we lost to Wigan in 2016. So that obviously galvanised you. And we were speaking before we started this conversation, and I said to you as a supporter, I felt 17, 18, 19, that period, as a supporter watching you, you could see a change in Joe Philbin. You really could. You started to be a player that I think even the fans, I mean, the fans acknowledged it as well. You sense a more warmth towards you. And when you came on, whether you started or you came off the bench, there was an anticipation in terms of, because you run hard. I mean, if there's one thing that we know about Joe Philbin is you're fearless. You just run really, really hard. And I thought your hard work during probably the pre-season of 2017 really paid off for you in that season. And of course, the next 3 seasons, I'll bring you in now, but 27 games in 17, 35 games in 2018, and 31 games in 2019. So, when you consider up to that point combined, you'd played, I think, 30 games for the Wire in 14, 15, 16. It was a massive jump. So you're talking there about trust. Suddenly Joe Philbin's being trusted and you're putting in a shift, mate.
Yeah, that was it. Literally, it was a light switch moment. Like I flipped the switch. It was from having no real purpose. And as well, like I said, I started playing rugby when I was 15, and things had gone really well for a few years. Where I probably just expected things to keep going well without any input from myself. But I saw that was getting taken away, and I kind of had to do something. And like I say, it was like a flick of the switch, and there's a saying: the harder you work, lucky you get. And as soon as I started kind of having a purpose and having a plan and doing the hard work, things started to go well for me. So it's no coincidence, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, spot on. Of course, because of your exploits in the 2017 season, of course, at the end of 2017 was the World Cup, and one Mr. Joe Philbin strides out for Ireland. What was the connection with Ireland, Joe? For those who don't know,
my dad's Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my dad. I'm from a farming family. My dad's a farmer. We've got a farm over in Culture there. But my dad's dad, they farmed over in Ireland. They had a farm over in Ireland. They moved over, bought a farm in Hindley in Wigan, and then that got bought by the government, and now so they moved on to Culture. So it was really proud for me, to be honest with you, because my dad's one of 12. That's what the Irish do. They have a lot of kids, and half my dad's brothers and sisters live over in Ireland still. So I've got all my Irish cousins and stuff. So it was special. It's special for me because 2016 I played a World Cup qualifier over in Bray, and a few of my family came to watch that. And then 2017 got to pull on the Ireland jersey, which made me feel really proud because some of my best memories I remember as a kid. I always said I wanted to live in Ireland because I used to love going over there and seeing my cousins and that in the west of Ireland. So that was really proud, and it was a great experience, great World Cup with the Irish lads. We were so close to a big upset really and getting through to a quarter final because it was weird how it worked. It was like seeded because we won 2 out of 3 games and we didn't get through to a quarter final, which I find so strange. And we were a fingertip off Lou McCarthy Scarsbrook off scoring against PNG to take us through to quarter final. We would have played against England, which would have been good fun. But 6-7 weeks out in Australia was brilliant, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I highlight that tournament going up against Wales, 34-6 win, and again, Mr. Philbin's on the score sheet.
Yeah, got over, which I was really happy with. And then also we played against Italy in the first game, and Mr. Paul Vaughan was playing for Italy that day. So played against Big Varney. James Tedesco was playing for him as well. They had a pretty stacked team themselves. So yeah, no, it was good, really good experience and really fun World Cup. I remember Steve Price had just got the job at Warrington just before that World Cup. So like I was speaking to him on the phone and he was kind of telling me a few things that he wanted to see from me and stuff like that. So that kind of started that relationship off well as well.
Yeah, I bet you'd rather be lining up with Vaughan than against him. I'm taking it.
Oh yeah. He's a big bit of kit in it. He's a big bit
He
of
was
kit.
outstanding,
Oh,
wasn't it? I mean, last year, I mean, you've got up against him, and you know the player that he is. But I mean, it was just such an easy transition for him, or it seemed that way.
yeah. He's got such good feet for it. Like I think something that probably like people think he just runs it in, and but he's got this little late feet at the line, and he's so hard to tackle. So yeah, he's a great player. Like you look at his career, he's done New South Wales, Australia, and it's great to play alongside him, Big Paul.
As Warrington fans, just staying with the Ireland team for a minute, a couple of players that probably really get on the nerves of Warrington fans over the years. I'm going to pick two out that you played alongside. One, Louis McCarthy Scarsbuck, who retired last year. As a teammate, I'm sure you're going to be very polite, but obviously as Warrington fans, Louis just wound us up like you won't believe. What's he like? He seems a character, Louis McCarthy.
Honestly, before I played the World Cup with him, I was probably the same. I was thinking like, cause it used to scream at you in matches and that, but then you played with him and you just think what a legend he is. Like he's such a legend. Um, so no, he was great value. He's never got a smile off his face. He's always making you laugh. Um, like you said, but it's the same in rugby league with everyone. Like anyone who you think is a bit of a nonsense, like who fans don't like, you speak to the
Yeah.
teammate, they go, he's all right in real life, lad. He's all right. He's just a pantomime villain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't meet too many bad people in rugby, but
No.
as fans, you need some people to hate, don't you?
Oh, mate, you've got to. I mean, we had Dan Sidings on. Couldn't stand him when we were up against him, but like I say, proper fella. Another one that you played alongside in that tournament, Mickey McAlorum. I mean, let's be fair. But Greg, who does this with me, often talks of the dark arts of rugby league. Mickey's a student of those. What's Mickey McAlorum like?
Yeah, great teammate, someone who you want in your team. I think um, the biggest compliment you can ever give a player is fans not liking them, to be honest with you, because that means they're doing stuff that if they played for you, you'd love them. So that if people, it's when people aren't talking about you, that's probably when you need to worry a little bit. But great teammate, fearless. I remember that game in Papua New Guinea, like that I talked about. I remember the humidity was about 90%, and honestly, that is the toughest match of rugby I've ever played in my life. Like still to this day, sometimes before a game, I've got a song. We were listening to some Irish songs on the journeys and that. We love the music, the Irish, and I've got an Irish song that reminds me of that World Cup, and it reminds me of that game. And before a game, I'll listen to this song and just think, no matter what happens today, it'll never be as tough as that game in Port Moresby. So, it was tough, but Mickey that day was just flying out, going after people, and yeah, like I say, great teammate, somebody you want on your side in battle.
So you mentioned obviously the incoming Steve Price. Just want to talk a little bit about Tony Smith. I mean, again, from the outside looking in to the club, fans don't get into the dressing rooms, but Tony Smith took Warrington on incredibly during his tenure. It's fair to say the latter end of that tenure, the performances were really tough in 2017. It was a tough watch. I remember Salford at home. I mean, and you'll know this as a Warrington player. The fans when they're on your back, they're on your back. But equally, it can go the other way. And there was a little bit of that as a player when you've had this in terms of Darryl Powell last year, Tony Smith back then when it doesn't quite end where they move on. As a player, how much responsibility do you take for that when a coach gets to move on?
Well, you've got to take all the responsibility. Like it's the players who go out on the park at a weekend, and what I say about them periods is it's so strange that confidence it's so hard to get and it's so easy to lose. And that 2017 season, it was because 2016, I think, we were Challenge Cup final, Hull won that late,
Yeah.
grand final, close grand final. You're probably thinking 2017 is going to be another good year. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't put our finger on it. But as players, you've got to take ultimate responsibility because it's at the end of the day, it's you who's going on the park at the weekend.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Just interested to get your insight on that. I don't really want to dwell on it too much. Obviously, we then go into 2018, and you mentioned about 16, two finals, of course, Challenge Cup final. We lost out to the Catalan Dragons. And then, of course, we fell to Wigan again. On this occasion, you were involved in both of those finals. And I'm pretty. What was interesting was we went up against Catalan. I think it was a couple of weeks before the
2 weeks
Challenge Cup
before,
final,
2 weeks
and we
before.
annihilated them, 56 points to 56-6, I think it was. And I think you scored that day, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Very
to go to Wembley.
very embarrassing picture went online of me that day scoring that try.
What was that? Go on.
I don't know if I can explain it too well, but a body part fell from my shorts, let's say, and there's a photo of it. It got put on Facebook, and I was trying to get it deleted, but it was all good fun. It was all good fun. As soon as we got into the video room the day after, Steve Price had it on the full big screen like this. He never missed a trick and stuff like that. He loved funny stuff like that. He was laughing his head off.
Saying, did that one get photoshopped?
No, yeah. I think, to be honest, I think I posted it on my Instagram because I thought, well, you've just got to put your crash helmet on and have a laugh.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, good. Yeah, no. So Catalan played a really weakened side that week.
Yeah.
That scoreline was probably a misconception, whatever. But we thought, like, our tactic was, we're not resting anyone. We're going full strength, and then we played Castleford the week after, full strength, and then we played the Challenge Cup final. And Catalan rested because I think they ended up in the million. No, that was 2017. Was it the £1 million game? But I don't think they were doing too well, so they were just putting all their eggs in the Challenge Cup basket, and obviously it paid off for them. But it was heartbreaking because everything that we could have done wrong that day, we did. We didn't do what we've been doing in the season, but to be honest, it gave us a lot of big game experience because, like you say, we also played the 2018 grand final that year against Wigan, and I feel like although we didn't, because I feel like the Catalan one we just threw away. We didn't throw it away against Wigan. It was a good contest, but they just got over us. But I think that gave us some good big game experience as a team, ready for that 2019 Challenge Cup win, I reckon.
I mean, obviously, from you, that 2018 grand final. From you, obviously, you want to get to a grand final, Joe. You want to win a grand final. Of course, you do. There's still plenty of rugby left in you. But at this moment in time, how much does that one grind you? 8-4, and like you say, it was a proper arm wrestle. That one. Is that still niggling at the back of your mind, that particular grand final?
Yeah, it does. It does. I remember. I don't know though, because I feel like when you lose, but you actually give everything, I feel like, the Catalan one hurt more just because we threw it away. Like we lost the game. Like we lost the game. Whereas against Wigan, we didn't lose. We obviously lost, but like we didn't throw it away. It was just a great contest, and I don't feel I feel I can sleep easier with the Wigan loss in the grand final than I can with the Challenge Cup one, because we actually had a right dig, and it was just a, I think a few George Williams kicks that actually scored the tries. So yeah,
very reminiscent of last year. I mean, they've always had that Wigan, haven't they? I mean, Harry Smith in the final last year, very similar performance, just kicked them to death really, and control the game, and the rest, as they say, is history. Let's move forward to a happier time, 2019. And I have to say, from somebody who was at the Wilderspool years and all the rest of it, of course, the first Challenge Cup against Huddersfield was great. The first League Leaders Shield was great. All of these finals have been great along the years. We always laugh at ourselves as Warrington fans. We don't take ourselves too serious. But I have to say, in my lifetime, you were a part of perhaps one of my favourite ever days, which is, of course, when we beat St Helens at Wembley for the Challenge Cup. To beat them, I know we beat Leeds twice over the years at Wembley, but there's something different when it's Saints, and St Helens fans didn't give us a prayer that day. You, of course, scored. Go on, talk us through it. As a player, Wembley, childhood dream, you're walking out and you win, you get hold of that famous trophy. As best you can, relive that day. What was it like?
Yeah, well, it starts the night before, really, because you say St Helens fans didn't give us a prayer winning. I don't think Warrington fans give us a prayer winning, really. I think we'd lost 5 or 6 in a row and we're getting battered from pillar to post in the media and stuff like that. But we went out. But I think against Saints we'd had a pretty good record under Steve. Yeah. So we went down to Wembley, and honestly, in the room we kind of Price got us in, and he basically said, "Look, no one believes in us, blah blah blah." And he said, basically, siege mentality. It's about us in here. All we need is everyone in this room to kind of believe. And he made everyone stand up at the front one by one and kind of talk about what they were going to do tomorrow for the team. And we had video messages from all our family, which were really special, really emotional night. And you just had a little feeling, you know what I mean? So we obviously got to the game, and Benny Westwood was. He didn't get picked. Benny got picked as 18th man, and he picked Matty Davis over Benny Westwood. And Benny was obviously heartbroken, but he stood up and kind of told everyone. He said, "You can lose the Challenge Cup before it even starts by getting too psyched up." Because he said, "You do your warm up on the pitch, and then you've got about a 15-minute break because they sing goodbye with me and they do all this." He said, "So in the tunnel, just be completely relaxed. Don't Then Prince Harry comes and meets everyone, which was great." But he was saying there's so many formalities after the warm up. Like, just don't be playing the game in your head too much. So that was, and it was good of Benny to do that, because we feel like that helped us, to be honest with you. We were calm and stuff. But yeah, no, just such a good day, because like you said, no one gave us a prayer. And yeah, I obviously got that try, which was a great feeling for me. And then there was so many big plays in that game. Bryson Goodwin knocking the arm down. Daz Clark was instrumental all the way through. Tommy Lynham took about 27 carries that day. Yeah. Because the backs really had to help the forwards. It's probably one of the hottest games I've played in the UK anyway. Like, you know, it was about 30. I remember the captain's run the day before, and I was swallowing fleas while I was running, because it was like that hot. There were fleas everywhere. So the backs did a lot of work for the forwards. Forwards kind of had to front load the defense. The backs did a lot of the carries. You know, sometimes every carry in the set, and then you just get on your bike and kick chase and go and defend again. And then I think it's when Daz scored, that's when you kind of knew it was. So it was quite nice that you could have the last few minutes knowing that you probably won it as well. And yeah, just such a good feeling. The next few days were brilliant. We had an open top bus parade. We had a few drinks after the game. Then the next day we had a few drinks. Then we had the open top bus parade where we had a few drinks again. So I've not been home for like 3 days really, or I did go home for a little bit. And then when I got home, my missus was like, "I need to tell you something." I was like, "What? No." So I got in from the last day of drinking, and she must have told me the news. I fell asleep, and she said, "So what do you think of the news then?" And I was like, "What news? What you on about?" Didn't have a clue what she was talking about. Well, that's when I found out that I was having my first little lad, Bobby. So she told me, and I completely forgot. But you know, he's a mad Wire fan now. But yeah, good times.
So that year you scored in more ways than one, mate. By the looks of it.
Yeah. That's it.
Days. And how many kids have you got now, Joe?
I've got 2, mate. Yeah, I've got Bobby who's going to be 4 in April, and I've got little Sophia who's going to be 1 in April. So yeah.
So Bobby's at an age now where he's realising what Daddy does. What's that like?
Oh, man, he loves it. He's Wire's biggest fan. He's looking forward to the testimonial game, because obviously he gets to walk out with me, so he's really excited for that. He's been in the change room. He comes in the change rooms as much as he can. He knows every player's squad number, all the songs. He knows the winning song. He always sings the winning song. He's always watching Wire videos on YouTube. Yeah, he loves it. He loves it, mate.
Superb. Yeah, fantastic, mate. Fantastic. So obviously that I would guess that at the moment, obviously you've still got plenty of rugby to go. Is that the pinnacle at the moment, though? That Challenge Cup win, your medal at Wembley?
Yeah, 100%. That's the pinnacle on the pitch. I think obviously getting England and Great Britain call-ups, getting them caps were also great moments. But as silverware goes, that's definitely the best. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was at the end of that season that you got the Great Britain call-up, wasn't it? At the end of 19. Yeah, such was your play, and of course in 2021 you made England, didn't you, as well? So yeah, let's try and move this forward to the last year or so. Obviously, Warrington in 2022 had a torrid season, you know. But I think again it's a testament to the fans that through thick and thin. I know they get, you know, we get wound up. It's our year every year, but you know, to be fair, they turn up and they keep supporting. And actually, I felt that season, you talked to them about it's us against the world in the changing room before the Challenge Cup. It had a feeling of that on the terraces at the back end of 2022, especially the Toulouse game. There was an incredible atmosphere at Warrington in that Toulouse game. Were you there that night?
Yeah, I was. That's my first game. Obviously, you'll go on to it. Did my knee injury, but couldn't really get anywhere. I was lying on the couch for about a month, but that's the first game that I got to after my surgery. God, I was on the end of my seat that day. It was never want to go for anything like that again. But like you say, it was the fans that day were brilliant.
Absolutely. So, of course, that's the season where Warrington clung on to Super League survival. Toulouse, of course, come to the Halliwell, put a scare on Warrington, and Warrington come through the other end. But earlier in the season, there was another nail-biting game, a 4-0. It was a drab affair.
No, it was awful. It was
a horrible game of
rugby. For me especially, but it was the 4-0 was 2 penalties as well. It was no try.
No, it was unbelievable. I mean, both teams were more afraid of losing than winning. It was really in fact, it's probably one of the worst games I think the Halliwell Jones has ever witnessed. But anyway,
that's the confidence thing again that I say to you when you say you're more scared of losing than winning. You probably when you because I think we're making loads of errors. So we've tried probably being so safe that we just didn't even ask any questions. It was, like I said, the confidence was shot. But I'll go on. I'll let you get to
No. Well, yeah, let's get on to your injury. So, a couple of things here, Joe. Really bad year for Warrington. As a Warrington lad and as a Warrington player, first of all, as a Warrington lad, do you think at times it affects you more than maybe people that don't come from Warrington when Warrington are having these spells of where they're being challenged?
I don't know. You'd have to see inside someone else's head. It affects me. Yeah. It really affects me. My partner Laura, she'd attest to that because it ruins everything. It ruins your home life. Really stressful time. And like I said, it's so strange because then when things are going well, you kind of try to remember back to when things were going well and what were the things that you were doing, and you're trying to get back to doing all the things that you're doing. But if someone had an answer for why things happen, it wouldn't happen, would it? So, such a frustrating time. But I feel like everyone, I wouldn't say just because I'm a Warrington lad that I feel it more, because at the end of the day, it's our profession and people take pride in what they do. So I think all the lads feel it equally. I'd imagine.
Well, I mean, as men, we go through feeling useless when it comes to childbirth. I don't think I've ever felt as useless as at any point in my life when my kids were born. But as a rugby league professional, to be on the sidelines with your ACL and seeing the team going through the turmoil there was, how was that for you that season, knowing that you're powerless and there's your teammates and how it went?
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, I'm not going to say because I did my ACL, because it was rough before I did my ACL as well. It was such a rocky season. It was such a rocky season. But I think doing the ACL was hard. And you talk about feeling useless. I've never felt as useless as the first month after I did it. And I'm lied on the couch, and you have to be icing every hour, so 20 minutes for every hour. So I was just on the couch. My little lad, I'd take him out every day for a walk, for a bike ride, whatever we do, and he's coming asking me, "Come on, take me to the park." And I'm like, I can't move, mate. Sort of like, it just makes you feel. Honestly, that is the word. I'd say I felt worthless, felt useless. So it was hard. It was a hard time, but I'm a very positive thinking guy, and feeling down is not going to do anything for me. The only thing that I can do is come up with a plan. How I'm gonna, come back better than ever, kind of thing. So So my full focus just went into my recovery and doing all the 1% things that I could do to get back. And I was glad. I think I got back in like 7.5 months. So I was glad with how I did, and the medical staff at Warrington were absolutely brilliant with me. Adi Gardner, Nick Murphy, in particular. They've made me come back, and I've got absolute confidence in the injury, which I know a lot of people when they come back from an ACL, it's on the mind, but the things they put me through that, like it weren't on my mind because of how hard the training was. When I got back, I thought, well, it's probably worse than a match. So really grateful for them guys.
you hear a lot of people who've suffered ACLs and they talk. It is a lonely way back because you're just constantly you're training alone, aren't you? And somebody who's used to being around the boys, there's a lot of is there a lot of hard yardage that goes in where you are on your own, maybe just the physio team?
Yeah, it's a lot of work in the dark, mate. It's a lot of work in
Yeah,
the dark that people don't see, and then you. But then I suppose all that work's so worth it when you do make the comeback.
yeah,
That you it's so I can't explain the feeling because it's just so emotional. I feel like I remember after my final session before I played my first game back, just having tears, just crying, just having tears in my eyes again. Sound like I cry all the time. I never cry. These are the only two times I think I've cried in my life. But it's just all the work you've gone through to get to this point. And the last session, it's a famous one at Warrington for lads who've had the unlucky time of doing an ACL injury. The last session is misery. It's absolute misery. It was you do a block of fitness, a block of running, and then you go into 8 fresh younger lads who are just, you do tackling on them. They tackle you. They're doing third man in. Then you go back to doing fitness, and then you're wrestling with everyone, and then you're back to doing fitness, and you're doing. But it's about 30 to 40 minutes of maybe longer, it might be over an hour of just when you're watching it. I remember watching other people do it, and you're just watching it like, ooh. So when I got through that, I think I had so much fatigue in me, and you kind of the emotions and stuff, and yeah, it all just come out, and a few tears, but then it was worth it to get back in the Wire kit in the HJ against Lee.
yeah. Well, speaking of that, I mean, I said I was going to do this before we came on air. This is you. This is you on your way in. That's my little boy. So we actually met you that day on the way into the ground, and I have to say, you had a grin as wide as wide as anything. And I have to say, you look lean that day as well. You were just buzzing, mate. And it was just great to see you back with a big smile on your face, raring to go against Lee. And like I say, that showed me a little lad before you went on the field, mate.
Good times, mate. Good times.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hopefully he was happy meeting some of the boys there before they.
absolutely. Well, and I said this to Dan Sargent, and it's the same for every club. You're their heroes. I mean, there's a big fascination with football in this country, but if you're rugby league, you're rugby league. Kids don't see it. They don't understand this big football fascination. My lad's all over rugby. He won't be alone. There'll be a lot of people just like him. I suppose Ben Curry was a big help to you because, of course, Ben did his ACL, didn't he? I bet Ben was quite useful during that comeback.
Yeah, but he was really good actually because I'd be asking him like, oh, what do you do with it, and he basically said like you've got to do your own, like find your own way. Like I can't say where I was at that. Like, I was like, right, where was you at 4 months? Where was you at 5 months? And he's like, because it's such a complex injury where like they like overload your workload and then your knee could like blow up again, and then you have to let the swelling come down. And it's basically just doing more and more and more and more and just building. And some people might have quite a lot of setbacks. I was lucky. I didn't really have, my knee didn't react to pretty much anything. I had not too many setbacks with it. I think we progressed it at probably a perfect rate, to be honest.
Superb. So last year, obviously, Dowell lost his job last year. Incredible start, 8 wins from 8. And like you said a minute ago, if you could put your finger on what went wrong, you'd be a very, very rich man. But again, as a squad, I mean, you must have been on such a pinnacle and such a high after the Catalan game at round 8. And then you tell me, what was it like
Yeah,
going through
I
last
just
year?
think for us as a team, something that can be questioned and something that we need to work on and we've addressed in the preseason is resilience. Because I think when we're like front runners and we go well, I think we're really good. But I think as soon as someone puts it on our nose or did put it on our nose, I think that's when we kind of crumbled. So, that was basically it. I think that season. I think, yeah, I think as a team, we that's the massive area because I feel like we'd be fine winning and then we'd lose one and we'd lose a few. Like the confidence would go down. Probably how we dealt with losing probably wasn't the best. We probably got really negative on ourselves when you just got to dust off the cobwebs and go again. So Yeah, so it was yeah, like I say, weird year. We're 8 from 8, and then all of a sudden, yeah, just kind of crumbled away really, which was probably pretty embarrassing for us players. And like I said, it's not nice seeing anyone lose the job. But that's kind of the sport. That's the sport that we play. And then obviously Gaz came in for the back end. Gaz and Martin Gleeson, and performances probably picked up. To be honest with you, there was an uptick in performances. I think we probably started playing a bit more direct towards the back end of the year, and then obviously lead on to this season now, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. No, and how much again with Sam Burgess coming in, obviously. The press will do what the press need to do, but inside the club, obviously big appointment for Sam. I mean, everybody thought he was going to be nailed on for an NRL job. So people are talking about the risk that Warrington have taken in Sam. Sam himself, though, has took a risk because everybody felt that he was just going to progress through the system in the NRL. He's took himself out of his comfort zone. He's come back to Britain. I believe I spoke to Gary Chambers a couple of times last year in terms of his attention to detail. He's all over it, in terms of the club, the culture, the fans, everything. He really wants to make a good go of it. How infectious has that been? And of course, as somebody who's played in forward positions throughout his career, for you, I'm sure to have somebody like Sam Burgess as your coach, he's going to be great.
Yeah, I can't speak highly enough of him, Sam. I think he's new out the game, he's fresh out the game, so he understands the players, and he's been absolutely brilliant for us. I think he knows when it's time to have a laugh, and then when he needs to crack the whip, he'll certainly crack the whip. So like you say, for me, from a forwards point of view, it's a dream come true. Because you talk about before he was a childhood hero as well. As a teenager, maybe not a child, but Sam was that trailblazer of a forward who went over to Australia as a young guy. And I think you talk about leaving his comfort zone. I think everything he's ever done in his career has been about getting out of his comfort zone. He left Souths when he probably could have stayed there on a load of money for the rest of his career, and went, now I want to go and crack rugby union now. Played a World Cup for England rugby union, probably got scapegoated if you look at what happened, and then kind of makes the comeback, and then, like you say, again, could have stayed cushy on a lot of money in Australia, but no, I want to be a head coach. I want to show what I can do, and has come over here, brought his family over here, young family. So yeah, look, I'm really excited to play under him. I feel like just in the preseason alone, I talk about what needed to change in our team is probably that resilience, and that belief, and who better to bring a bit of resilience to the team than Sam Burgess, who won a grand final with a broken cheekbone for the full game. So we did an army camp with Ant Middleton just before Christmas, which was really hard, really hard work, but we got a lot out of that. So I think we'll probably refer back to that during the year, definitely.
Yeah, there's been many a game, and you talked about Andy Fowler, the Saints derby. The Burgess one in the final for Souths would rank up there as well in terms of heroics. It was just incredible, wasn't it? That final, incredible stuff. So, I mean, obviously, I was at the media day at Warrington on last week, and morale seems good. Again, I can only judge what I see. The morale seems good. There seems to be an energy around the camp. The new boys, Zane and the likes, Lachlan, have they all settled in really well?
Yeah, mate, they've been brilliant. They've all brought their own pieces of like their own special touches. You know what I mean? They're all different players, but they've all brought their own bits of class. And then you look like the new signings. Then you look at the young lads who've come up. And then we've obviously got a new young signing in Max Wood, who had a great game as well for that younger looking team against Widnes. So yeah, it's been brilliant, mate. And like the camaraderie has been fantastic. And we enjoy each other's company, but it's about taking that onto the field now.
Absolutely. Well, let's get to that because you're going to be taking the field this weekend. Let's get to your testimonial. So, testimonial this week. Why Lee? I mean, obviously, it's a new rivalry, Lee, with what happened last year. I mean, let's be fair. The Ben Curry one was a bit tasty. The one at the LSV was also tasty. Was there a reason why Lee was chosen?
No, I mean, like I said about my mum and dad having the farm, it's smack bang in the middle of Warrington and Lee there, the Culture of Glaisbury area. So I've got a few mates who are Lee fans, so I thought I'll make it interesting. I'll make it interesting for me and a few of my mates. So really looking forward to it. I thought they had a great year last year. They obviously went and won that Challenge Cup, which is a great day. We know all about that. I really like their owner, Derek. I think he's good for the game. I love big characters myself personally. I think it's good to see. So look, really excited that I've got this game. Looking forward to it. I think both teams are going to be going full strength there, so it's going to be like a proper clash, and it'll be an exciting one, especially, you know, like you said, it's become a rivalry because of all the Warrington lads who went over to Lee there. So yeah, no, it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing friendly about that Ben Curry one last year, so I'd expect yours will be exactly the same. Really looking forward to it. And of course, tickets still on sale. And I think, am I right in thinking a family of four can get in for 40 quid?
Yeah, I think even maybe 34 quid. So that's two adults, two kids. So yeah, no, it's there's some good value tickets, because I just want to get a big crowd on. I want everyone to get back, watch the first time Sam Burgess puts a full strength team out, and I want everyone to come out, have a good day, get back to the rugby. We've all missed it. I enjoyed being there, watching our lads there against Widnes the other night. So it'll be even more exciting now that you get to see every player playing, every player who's fit playing.
Well, I always say, forget the Gladiators on the BBC. If you want to see Gladiators, go and watch a rugby league player, because it's not 30-second games; it's 80 minutes of gladiatorial sport. That's what it is. So, yeah, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do than go and see Joe Philbin's testimonial? And Joe, obviously, you'll have other things planned for the year. What's currently in the melting pot that people can get involved with as part of your testimonial over and above the game?
Yeah. Oh, so far I've got my opening dinner, which is going to be at the Halliwell Jones on the 2nd of March, which is going to be a Saturday night. So that's the only one. I've got a few more things in the pipeline, but nothing that's out yet. But if anyone would want to come down, I've got some great entertainment planned. Got some great singers, band playing. So if anyone wants to come down and kind of watch the opening dinner, got some great guest speakers, a lot of current players, past players. A lot of superstars who are going to be there in attendance. So if anyone would like to come down to that, it's the 2nd of March. Again, that'll all be on my testimonial page.
Fantastic. Make sure you go and visit that. And I'm sure there'll be other events as the year go on. You must be very proud to have been honoured with a testimonial this year, Joe.
I am, mate. Yeah, I am. I think to do 10 years at any club is something that should be celebrated, though. And I think to do 10 years at your hometown club that you love, is definitely worth celebrating. So I'm really blessed and honoured to have it. But I think I'll look forward to it as well.
Good man. Well, look, make sure you get down there to the Halliwell Jones this weekend. Tickets, as Joe says, it's a bargain for what is going to be. No, it's not friendly. This is going to be a really good quality game of rugby league that is going to be a part of the Joe Philbin testimonial. And I do believe there will also be turnstiles open on the night. So if your plans change at the last minute, the floodlights will be on. Get yourself down to the HJ. Right, Joe, what we're going to do, finish like we know, always finishing conversation before you go. We're going to pick your all-time 1 to 13 that Joe Philbin has gone out with. First of all, where are you playing? Are you playing prop? Are you playing loose forward? Where are you going to be?
I'm going to play prop.
Right.
I'm going to play prop.
Good man. So let's start at fullback. Who would be your fullback?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm thinking of this on the spin because I completely forgot you were going to ask me this. So I'm just trying to. If you see my eyes in the background, I'm just trying to write one down now. So my number 1 is Stefan Ratchford.
Nice.
I'm going with Scratcher because he was just such a great servant for the club, and I think all my memories coming through, I remember all the Challenge Cup finals and things like that. Obviously, when Brett Hodgson went and Steph stepped in there and really made it his own, and love playing with Steph, love having him by my side. So Steph Ratchford gets my number 1.
Yeah, great servant to the club as well. His testimonial, of course, last year. Right, who are we going with on the wings? Your 2 wingers.
I'm going with number 2, Joel Monaghan, or is he number 5? I'm going to have Joel Monaghan, though. How he played for Warrington was an absolute freak, weren't he? So
yeah, he was, yeah.
Really enjoyed playing with Joel Monaghan. And then my other winger, I've got a toss up between 2, but I think I will have to go with Tommy Makinson. Right. I was going to think Ryan Hall or Tommy Makinson, but I think I'm going to go with Tommy Makinson as as my number 5.
Yeah, yeah. He's, I mean, again, quality player, absolute quality player. A lot of rumours he might be off to Catalan next year. That's one to wait and see.
Yes,
Who's your
I saw that
two?
one.
Yeah, yeah. Rumours are abound that Catalan are sniffing for 2025. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Two centres.
My two centres, I'm going with Ryan Atkins and Toby King.
Right, King
Ryan
over King, you
Atkins,
back.
Ryan Atkins, really helped me as a young player, and he was electric, weren't he, there for Warrington? And Big Toby King, really excited to have him back. He's a big athlete. I think played really well for us in 2021, and then obviously 2022 he got shipped out on loan, but I think that could have really damaged his confidence, but he didn't. He showed how good he was last year, and really excited to have him back. So yeah, Toby King is my centre.
Good balance in it this year, because I think last year we didn't have too many options at the back, but he's got his work cut out as Toby, and because there's a lot of people vying for those two shirts, aren't there, this year for
Yeah.
Warrington? It's going to be
No, yeah,
interesting.
there's a lot of competition. You've obviously got Toby, you've got Steph, you've got Connor Wrench, you've got Roderick Ty. So a lot of competition, and competition's a good thing. It brings out the best in people. So
Spot on.
yeah,
Spot on. So well then, your halfback combination. Who's going to be your 6 and 7?
I'm going to have George Williams, and I think I'm having Chrissy Sandow. It was short-lived, but it was magic.
He was box office, wasn't he? He was box office.
But until he did his hamstring in that 2016 season, I'd never played with anything like it, to be honest with you. He was, I mean, I didn't know what he was doing. Like, he'd just say, give me the ball, and then he's like, you just run there. Like, okay. Then, I don't know, he was pulling plays out of his socks, I think. But no, yeah, it was good. It was good. So yeah, I'll go with Chrissy.
Both of them in top form. Hell of a 6 and 7, that one. Right, you're one side. Who's the other side?
Chris Hill, like
Yeah.
I said before, Chris Hill's got to be my number 8,
Yeah.
and I'll take the number 10.
Absolutely, yeah. And hooker, who are you going at 9?
Oh, this is such a difficult one. Love playing with Danny Walker, but I've been playing with Daz since 2015, so it was a really hard one. But I've gone with Daryl Clark. I think he was such a good servant for the club. I played 9 years with Daz. Obviously made my debut in 14, and then Daz rocked up in 15. So we had 9 years together. Had some good times together. And then obviously we got Danny in 18, and I think Danny in the last few years really stepped up, and I think now he's ready to own the team. So excited to play with Danny as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I interviewed Daz just before the final game of the season. I said, we wish you well, but I'm certainly not wishing the team you're going to represent well. And he had a little chuckle at that, did Daz, when he left. Right, second row. Who are you going at? You're 11 and 12.
Okay. I'm going.
Yeah.
Super Benny Westwood.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
You'd have been booed. You'd have been booed coming out on your testimonial if you hadn't gone Benny.
Like Benny, first name on the team sheet, mate.
Yeah.
Benny Westwood. Although he played 13 when I came through, because obviously he was at the back end, but he's my number 12 because you see video when Benny Westwood 2012. 2012 edition of Benny Westwood. You're not competing with that, mate. So Benny Westwood's absolute shoo-in. Now, my number 11. I've had to go Elliot Whitehead.
Yeah.
Like, great second row. Does all, as a teammate, does all the little things that people on the sidelines and on telly probably don't recognise, but us as players, who know the actions that people like to see in a team, coaches like to see in a team. He does all of them. He never stops working. So Elliot Whitehead is my number 11. Number 13.
He's had a stellar career, hasn't he?
He's been
stellar
brilliant.
career. Yeah, I mean, any player who goes over there and and matches up to him, you've got to tip your hat. You really do. And finally, your number 13.
This is hard. This is hard. I'm trying to think who I played with. Do you know what? I think James Graham played 13 for Great Britain, so I'll sneak that one in there.
Oh, happy days! Sneaking it in.
Little name drop there, James Graham.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you. No, hey, where would that team finish in Super League?
Reckon. What are they the age they are now, or are they?
No, in the prime.
In primes, yeah. I think you go all right. I think I might be getting dropped down to bench though if that was the team.
We're not picking the bench today. So look, we're going to go out with your final. You can have the final word. Your testimonial. Give it the biggest plug that you can, Joe. Over to you.
No, look, I feel honoured that I've got to represent my hometown for 10 years. Like I said, I feel like 10 years, any club's worth celebrating, but 10 years at your hometown club. I love this club, so any Warrington fans who feel like supporting, get there, and don't do it for me. Do it because you've missed the rugby. Do it because you want to watch Sam Burgess's first full strength team. But yeah, it'll be brilliant. It'll be brilliant. Really looking forward to it. Like I said, I've made it as affordable as possible, so we can have as many people as possible get there. Get the Barmy Army going, and also quick one. Lee are selling their tickets like wildfire, so we can't have them out singing us, can we? So yeah, let's get behind it.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you, Joe. I appreciate what you're saying about Sam Burgess, but as a Warrington lad and somebody who's entertained the Warrington fans for as long as you have, get there to support you. You fully deserve it, mate. You've been a credit to the town over the years, and you're still only 29, so plenty of rugby still left in Joe Philbin for the Warrington Wolves. Joe, really appreciate you giving up your time today. I hope you get everything that you want out of this testimonial, and I hope that the 2024 season for you and for your club goes as well as it possibly can. Thanks very much indeed for your time.
Thank you, mate.